From East Washerwoman, it's about 1.5 miles, almost due south to the Barge wreck in 20 feet of water. The Barge was sunk in the mid-1960s. This vessel is rapidly disintegrating and will probably collapse when the next major hurricane hits this area. It's easy to penetrate the barge, but there are a lot of sharp objects inside the hull, so caution is advised. About 3/5 of a mile, 160 degrees south-southeast from the barge, the reef begins to drop off. Here, in 55 to 60 feet of water, is all that remains of the FOUR KIDS shrimp boat that went down in the early 1980s. The shrimp boat swamped while underway. Thousands of grunt and numerous large grouper like to hang out in the wreckage. Constructed mostly of wood, little remains of the shrimp boat except her metal components. From the FOUR KIDS, it's about 1 mile west to Delta Shoal, another interesting graveyard of sunken ships. The first sight on Delta is a massive metal debris field caused by the violent grounding of a very large ship in about 20 feet of water. The metal indicates a ship that went down from the late 1800s to the early 1900s. Nearby this site, the Ivory Wreck, an unknown slave ship, rests completely covered by a thick blanket of sand. The wreck was named for the many ivory elephant tusks recovered here, linking the ship directly with Africa. Dick Holt's Somewhere in Time Shipwreck Museum in Islamorada used to have a trove of artifacts recovered here, all grim reminders of the slave trade. About 1/2 mile to the north-northwest inshore from the metal wreckage is the Delta Barrel Wreck, perhaps that of the North America, a 3-masted, square-rigged vessel built in Bath, Maine in 1833. On November 25, 1842, the North America, laden with dry goods and furniture, en route from New York City to Mobile, Alabama, smashed aground in 15 feet of water on Delta Shoal. She was well salvaged for 3 days after the disaster. She's situated southwest to northeast with a 115-foot long, 30-foot wide ballast mound, protecting a great deal of her structural timbers. The next dive site, beautiful Sombrero Reef, is marked by the towering, reddish-colored Sombrero Key Lighthouse, in service since March 17, 1858. Lieutenant George Gordon Meade of Civil War fame supervised the construction in the mid-1850s. This 142-foot tall, open skeleton lighthouse is the tallest lighthouse of its kind in the Florida Keys. Sombrero Lighthouse flashes 5 times every minute at night. In order to magnify the light to be visible over 15 miles out to sea, complex lenses are necessary. Sombrero Lighthouse used this first-order fixed Fresnel lens manufactured in Paris, France in 1857. In 1982, the lens was removed and put on display here at the Key West Lighthouse Museum after 124 years of service. Lighthouse keepers tended the light on Sombrero until 1960, when the lighthouse became fully automated. Sombrero Reef has more definition than any other reef or shoal near the Marathon area. Coral rises over 10 feet above the sand, creating massive caverns to explore. The last site in the Marathon sector is about 3 miles to the west of Sombrero Reef. The 7 Mile Bridge Moser Channel bridge rubble is an outstanding fish haven in 110 feet of water. Even though located just over 6 miles seaward from the throat of Moser Channel under the 7 Mile Bridge, this site can be influenced by strong tidal currents. There are several more bridge rubble mounds in the area. The others may be located with a depth gauge. Moser Channel had a swinging drawbridge first used by the Overseas Railroad in 1912. In 1938, the drawbridge was modified for the new Overseas Highway. Rails from the old railroad were fashioned into guardrails for the highway bridges. I hope you've enjoyed the top dive sites of the Middle Keys. The Dive Odyssey continues tomorrow as we make our way into the lower Keys. We've got 45 miles of reef line to go to reach Key West.